After Canada's 2-0 dominant performance against Qatar today, we now have 7 things we learned from today's match heading into the next friendly against Uruguay and, of course, World Cup 2022 Qatar. But we're going to kick it off straight away with point number 1, being our formation, the interchangeable front three mostly. Of course, with Davies on the left and, of course, having Kyle Larin down the middle and Jonathan David now at right wing in his new position he's been occupying at Los Lille when their full squad is healthy. And it was truly brilliant today to watch our front three and the interchangeability and how good they truly were, with David moving inside at times, Larin drifting out wide to play on the left or the right, and you had David moving inside nicely to create chances and nice link-up play. And also adding onto the front three, you had Junior Hoylett at right wing back, who was contributing so much going forward as well, creating passing lanes, overlapping. Yes, he wasn't a part of that front three, but he goes along with this grouping as well because he is another player who can be adapted into this front three as well. But Jonathan David, Kyle Larin, and of course Alphonso Davies looked absolutely brilliant today. And it was unfortunate to see Alphonso Davies go down with that knock, but of course, like John Herdman said, he looked absolutely fine. He was laughing and joking on the bench, and he looked like himself. But that front three was immaculate. They were absolutely dominant going forward in that first 35-40 minutes. And they were unplayable. Yes, I was arguing for Ugbo to start. Everyone wanted to see Ugbo with Jonathan David up top. But Kyle Larin proved himself once again in the Canadian jersey, knocking in his 25th for Canada. And now Jonathan David and Kyle Larin are Canadian all-time goal scorers playing together and currently playing for the national team. And the fact that these two scored here once again, continue to build chemistry, continue to score, and keep up that form for the national team, it is absolutely brilliant. And seeing Fonzie back on the pitch for the national side was also fantastic. But also getting to see Brim on the field, also getting the likes of Ugbo on the field, and even Liam Miller moving forward, who did start at wing back but also then moved to left wing, was absolutely amazing. We will talk about Liam Miller in another point later on, but it was fantastic to see all of those forwards come on and the interchangeability and excitement of that front three group. But also, we're going to swiftly move on to point number 2, and that has to be Samuel Piet's brilliance in the first 45 minutes or so. He was absolutely amazing in the first 45 minutes, in that first half. He was silence brilliance, as I called it, and he was amazing, making the little things count, and not the pretty things, not the exciting things to the eye or to a neutral football fan. He was doing the nice little tidy things that you see that you're watching closely, that you don't come to respect a lot. He was doing those nice tidy passes, keeping control in the midfield, nice calm passes in the midfield. No rash challenges, not earning a silly yellow card. Very smart on the ball. He wasn't pinging a long ball when it wasn't needed. He was keeping it nice, tidy, short. Yes, it might have been side to side. It might have been recycling possession to the center backs, but it was very intelligent play from Samuel Piet. He was truly the pit bull. He was making some intelligent tackles in the midfield as well. Nothing rash, just smart standing tackles. Never saw him get out of possession too often. One or two silly passes that just strayed, but for the most part, Samuel Piet was absolutely brilliant, and it was silent brilliance because it wasn't something that you see sparkle on the eye, but it was a quality play from Samuel Piet today. And like he says, he is the pit bull, and he showed it today, and it was truly exciting to see from Samuel Piet. Moving on to point number 3 would be our midfield pivot. Eustáquio is of course a lock. He's one of the best midfielders in CONCACAF, if not the best in my opinion, after what he showed once again in the Canadian men's national team jersey again today. But that pivot between him and Piet looked fantastic. Yes, Piet was truly the defensive midfielder of the sitter, the calm presence in the midfield who just slightly did his defensive work, but when Ismail Akone came on, he looked brilliant with Eustáquio. Eustáquio is a lock, but that pivot between him and Piet in the first half and a bit in the second were brilliant. They looked quality on the ball, calm in possession, worked effortlessly in defense as well, and tracked back brilliantly. And this midfield pivot looked like they played together for years, for months, or games at least. But no, this was their first time together. They created some beautiful play, and it almost looked like a midfield at Liverpool where you had them covering, like a Jordan Henderson, covering for the fullbacks, bombing on. Eustáquio and Piet did a brilliant job of that, covering for the fullbacks and the wingbacks, winning back possession, playing the balls nice and neatly in the midfield, and they really didn't move a foot wrong. And this could be a perfect Atiba Hutchinson replacement as Samuel Piet moves forward. He was truly the pit bull, and in this midfield pivot, they looked absolutely brilliant together. We're going to move on to reason number 4, or takeaway number 4 from this match, being Kyle Larin and Jonathan David getting back on the score sheet. Yes, we did talk about them in point number 1, but they were absolutely brilliant. With Kyle Larin, who has been struggling to get form and get game time for his new club in Club Brugge, he has now gotten a start again for Canada, proving his form, proving his quality for his country, and he looked fantastic here for Canada once again. And that header was absolutely brilliant, placed extremely well, had enough power on it, rose brilliantly for the ball, and he was truly brilliant. Hopefully, maybe this quality he shows for country can earn him a bit more club starts or club appearances, at least for Club Brugge. And of course, Jonathan David looked fantastic again. Enough said about him. He has been quality for Lille, and of course quality again for Canada, tying Dero on the all-time scoring sheet, and these two are brilliant together. We're going to move on to my point number 5. We just have a couple more to wrap up here. And we have Liam Miller, who played fullback today. I thought he was absolutely brilliant playing left wing back. He made some brilliant runs. He was creating a lot of chances. He did move up eventually into left wing when another change happened, but he looked very good, and that could be a future role we see Liam Miller in. And what we might expect from him, as of course John Herdman says, some forwards might be playing wing back this campaign or this window. And Liam Miller adopted very well. He finally got that chance in a good pitch, a very good match to play in, and I was shouting for him to get one of these appearances, and he took it and played very well. One of my other last reasons coming up, and one of my things we learned from today's match, would have to be Ismail Akone's brilliance. He looked like a completely new player from the last time we saw him play for Canada and put on the Canada jersey. He looked completely different. Yes, he's been named a tier 1 player, a tier 1 prospect from a Norwich scout, but he was brilliant on the ball, moving it forward, and this is truly the pivot we need to be seeing. Stefan Eustáquio and Ismail Akone. Kone brings so much more offensively, moving the ball forward, dribbling with it, opening up key passing lanes. And defensively as well, he's not as good as a Piet, but he still has a lot to go for defensively, and he still brilliantly defense as well. But Ismail Kone should be that pivot man for Eustáquio going into that match against Uruguay, and I really hope John Herdman saw that, because that should truly be our midfield pivot of Stefan Eustáquio and Ismail Kone. But my last learning point and takeaway from this match is definitely Charles Andreas Brim. Charles Andreas Brim is a guy who I am high on and highly rate in the Canada squad and player pool, as I am not a big fan of Cavallini. And we saw that Charles Andreas Brim got the nod today over Lucas Cavallini, getting that appearance at the right wing and getting a chance to show what he's got. And immediately, once Charles Andreas Brim got on the pitch, he took his chance and he immediately ran out there, showed passion and desire, and pressed that back line and the goalkeeper of Qatar and immediately forced a corner. He created some nice chances, dribbled inside the box, and really showed his versatility. He can play down the middle, he can play on the right, and in this front three, you got to be versatile, and it showed here for tonight. And what John Herdman wants is that 3-5-2 or that 5-2-3, whatever you want. It's going to be a front three, and Charles Andreas Brim is so versatile. He fits this role perfectly, and he was really brilliant, I thought, today for Canada. He didn't score, he didn't assist, no huge chances, but the way he pressed, his desire, his passion to show that he deserved this role was amazing. And Cavallini might just drop down the depth charts for me, because I don't think he has what Charles Andreas Brim has in his locker or the versatility he truly possesses. But guys, Canada was truly brilliant and dominant over Qatar today, a side that is a very good side, but we made them look very mediocre and very poor today. That is how good Canada truly is. A 2-0 win, a massive result against a World Cup opponent, and a result we take and move on to against Uruguay, a huge world nation coming up this week. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Anything else you guys think you learned from this match, drop it down below. Hit that like button and hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.